some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous that you're not going to have income tax to pay.
You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? We coming to the greatest wealth era ever. No income tax. No income tax, sure.
I know.
And what I've learned is, what I'm learning from this guy named Brett Pike, that we didn't have income tax in this country. Listen to this guy. Listen to this guy. I didn't know that we didn't have income tax in this country for a very long time. And listen to this dude, yo.
Why aren't schools teaching that there was no federal income tax the first 137 years America was a country? Because there was no legal federal income tax between 1776 until 1913 when they amended or changed the US Constitution. They imposed an income tax for 12 years during the Civil War and in 1894 and 1895, but that was found unconstitutional. It was in the Supreme Court case Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company, and they struck down the federal income tax. And it remained unconstitutional for another 17 years until 1913 when they passed the 16th Amendment and changed the Constitution. Wow. And it has been a little over 120 years since they did that, which means there was no legal federal income tax for the majority of American history. People think that all of these taxes, all of this government intrusion into our lives is the norm, but it is not the norm. This is the norm. This is 1776, and the reason America was the manufacturing center of the world in 1912. America had the largest and most prosperous middle class in the history of the world. American steel, American oil, American automotive. But in 1913, they changed the Constitution, which was the same year that they created a national bank. So right at the same time as they gave the government the ability to reach into our pockets and take our money, they also gave a small group of powerful bankers a monopoly over the printing of the dollar. And they print money out of thin air. They lend the money that they printed to the government, and the government agrees to pay them back with interest using the money that they take from us. And that is why the dollar has been so devalued. That is why you can't afford a house. And it's why college is so expensive. Because for 137 years, America was about prosperity. And since then, it's been about whatever this is. And this is why I wrote a book on the banking system. And in my
I want to see that, The Bear from Jekyll Island.
Real history. Because if our kids are going to have a fighting chance, they have to know the truth. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs to Bears, books. Classical learner?
Genius. Wait a minute. I'm about to hold up. I did not know this was in the video. Joy, hold on. I gotta get a of course when you need your phone to do right, it does.
Right. Takes a good old sweet time. Technology.
So I wanna say we shouldn't be we got something else.
Okay.
We shouldn't be paying income tax.
But I've heard this before. I just didn't have all the facts, but I knew at one point that we weren't paying taxes in our country.
Yeah.
But, it's interesting to know that we need to dive deeper and find out what really made them want to impose income tax.
Waste spending, unlimited budget, corruption.
Funding the wars.
I believe that this is the same elitism that God doesn't like, and these are the same people that dictate and judge how the world runs, why they live. You probably don't even see some of these houses that these people that run this in. They probably live and own a house big as a mountain.
Right.
But these people are the corruption. We don't need income tax in the country. We could be way more wealthy. Imagine food lower, gas lower, no income tax. And it's going to be something I want to show you. Y'all look at the benefits. Look at the benefits of conversation if we don't have any income tax.
In less than $200,000 a year. Yes, you heard me right. We just got a major update on the no income tax. The last couple of weeks, we've been talking about no income tax for people making $150,000 a year. And we didn't know if that was just single people or could you do $300,000 a year combined. And right now, we just got a major update from Trump. Now, I'm going to read this in just a second, and I know a lot of people don't think that this is very real. And to me, it sounds kind of hard too, but this is something that he's actually pushing. He's putting this out there in a pretty big public way.
This was
Now,
2
here's what
days
Trump
ago.
just said today. When tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, maybe even completely eliminated. Focus will be on people making less than $200,000 a year. Also, massive numbers of jobs are already being created with new plants and factories currently built or planned. It will be a bonanza for America. The External Revenue Service is happening. Now, here's the bigger question. How does this help you? Do you think that this would actually help you? I think this is something that he is actually pushing along, and I've heard some other people in his cabinet say that they think we can do this. So I don't think this is a joke anymore. I think we're looking at the possibility of actually not having federal income. No income.
Trump said
No more federal income tax, and $8,000 back for every man, woman, and child inside the United States.
Wouldn't that be something?
This is what we're talking about as a possibility today. Now, neither of these are 100% confirmed, but they are on the table. So first off, let's talk about income tax. How much more money would you have back if you had no federal income tax whatsoever? How much would that help you throughout the year? I know that would help my family substantially. But to top that off, Elon Musk said that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, has found so much wasteful spending, over $2 trillion, that Americans deserve a check back for the money that they've found. It would be about $8,000 for every man, woman, and child. Now, if you
Well,
Pull
I'm
up.
gonna say this. That I was listening to another accountant that was talking about that. He's neutral. He's not picking sides, but he was like, "Yeah, but we've kind of started spending over that." But I do believe with the tariff side, certain things can be possible.
Man, woman, and child. I think man,
just from
woman.
Doge, I don't think we can get it because we start
household.
spending more than we're bringing in. But I believe from tariffs, that's a different conversation. If we go and if we take from that pot,
But I think it should be per household,
I think so. That would be
not
nice.
every individual in the household. Because he
I don't
said
think-
man, woman, and child.
Yeah, right. You think?
So
do you think the
this-
House would pass that? Yeah, right.
I'm just okay. So per household, yeah.
Imagine you got a household of 5 people.
10. Some folks got 10 kids.
So you coming out with 40 grand? I don't believe it. I mean, more than 40. More than 40.
checks, those were around $2,000 for every man, woman, and child. We're talking about 4 times the size of the check. So if you actually cut federal income tax and then you had $8,000 in checks back to the Americans, this would boost our economy like we have never seen before. What would you do with no income tax and $8,000 for each person?
Let's keep going through.
He said for each person.
For each person, I don't believe that. I really don't. The House
Per
is
household sounds more.
The House.
Next year is projected to be the largest tax refund season ever. And we're going to be giving back refunds out of the tariffs because we've taken in literally trillions of dollars. And we're going to be giving a nice dividend to the people. In addition to reducing debt, we, as you know, I inherited a lot of debt, but it's peanuts compared to the kind of numbers we're talking about. So we're going to be making a dividend to the people. And additionally, we're going to be able to reduce debt. And as time goes by over the next 2, 3, 4 years, those numbers are going to go up. And I believe that at some point in the not too distant future, you won't even have income tax to pay.
Okay.
Because the money we're taking in is so great, it's so enormous, that you're not going to have income tax to pay.
That sounds good.
Whether you get rid of it or just keep it around for fun or have it really low, much lower than it is now, but you won't be paying income tax.
How about no income taxes for Americans under 25? Taxpayers under 25 only make up about 1% of our total income tax revenue per year. That's about $30 billion a year. Budget dust. We just spent 10 times that in accidental overpayments and waste, according to the Government Accountability Office. If we don't charge taxes on young people, we're not going to miss it. But the long-term benefits of liberating working Americans under 25, incalculable. Think about it. Incentivizing a whole generation to go out, make money, and keep it. And when they turn 25, the odds of their being with a family and a house are that much higher. Today, the average first-time home buyer in America is 40 years old.
Wow.
An all-time high. Just 10 years ago, the average first-time home buyer in the United States was 30. Today, the median household income for the whole household in America is barely over $80,000 a year. while the median cost to buy a house in America today, 5 times that at
Yep.
over $400,000.
Wow.
The average first-time marriage age has risen to an all-time high with no signs of reversing. Birth rates in a death spiral. So when communist Jihadi Mamdani
People like, you know what? I'm gonna save this sperm right here. I'm gonna hold off.
storms the stage and offers affordability on the menu, of course he's going to turn heads. Mamdani has turned the heads and hearts of a hapless youth, a youth today who once looked up at their forefathers and aspired to build in their steps, but now scheme to take from their legacies. Rather than grow, they march to conserve and recycle. Rather than singing to their babies, they're yanking them out with forceps. Rather than invest, they're told to indenture themselves endlessly to the benevolent god of big government. And rather than question, they're told to just obey. This is truly a crisis. These young people will be leading the country within our lifetimes, and our children will have to navigate the world that this taker mentality builds. President Trump can turn it around right now. No income taxes on Americans working under the age of 25
None of
gives
us.
them a chance to know what making money feels like, what keeping your money feels like. Then they turn 26 and they have to hand all that money over to the federal government. The tax-free life they've lived and built for 9 years taken away.
That's good. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Wow.
1913, when the 16th Amendment was passed, that this government was able to function without charging you or me federal income tax?
Yeah, that's what the guy was saying.
There were no federal income taxes until 1913, when the 16th Amendment was passed through Woodrow Wilson. We had a fully functioning government from 1776 until 1912. Almost 150 years. And then they said the disparity between the rich and the poor is how they were going to start taxing people on how much you made. And today, in 2025, after 1913, over 100 years later, we're $37 trillion in debt. You're living paycheck to paycheck. And our founding fathers would be rolling in their graves had they known our government has grown this large, and they're taking 47% of your wages every single time you work a 40-hour paycheck. Tell me what you think in the comments. We were a fully functioning government until 1913 without federal income tax being taken out of our wallets.
Better
Trump's
get a
tariffs are
business.
lowering the income tax for anyone.
Let's see.
Income tax for anyone making less than $150,000 a year. This was re-announced by Trump today. Even the
Let me see what.
Abolish the income tax. I love the idea. 100% of people probably back it. Probably only 60% would admit that. Okay? The rest, it's a Trump idea, so they're never going to admit publicly that it's a great idea. The naysayers, how do we get rid of the income tax when the government needs it for spending? Stop the government from spending so much. Okay? That's easy. That's what Doge is for. Okay? Shrink that government down. All right? The other ways is tariffs. Even Fed Chair Powell, right, that asshole, said that tariffs have little to no effect on the American public. Right? Show me a study somewhere that says that it is. And not some friggin' leftist rag newspaper like the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal.
Right.
Okay? Show me somewhere that's legit that says tariffs are vastly affecting American people. So tariffs is one way, because we bring in billions monthly by tariffs, right? This country survived on tariffs from up to about 1860 or 1870. I forget what year it was that it was ended, right? And it all went to shit since then. So Trump wants to go back to that.
Which
Second
is
thing,
genius.
individual sales tax, right? So you're not going to spend on individual sales tax, which will be probably 23 to 30% on products you buy, right? You're not going to spend as much on personal sales tax as you would as high as your income tax would be. All right. So if you made $100,000 a year, just to make it easy, you're going to spend what, $25,000 in taxes? Boom, right off the top. Are you going to spend that much in sales tax a year? $25,000 to $30,000? I don't think so. Right? Do the math on that. That's more money than you think. So that's kind of your path through, right? So you have tariffs, you have individual sales tax, you have a smaller government, right? Now a smaller government Think about that. Trump wants an external revenue service, not an internal, right? Stop taxing our population, right? Start bringing in money from the outside, which is what tariffs do, right? So you start doing that. Think about just how many employees and how much it costs, billions, I would say, per year to run the IRS. Mm-hmm. If that was gone, just think of the savings of that alone.
Right.
Right? I've always said that this government has like 300,000 to 400,000, if not 500,000, too many employees. By abolishing the IRS really cuts into that. There is thousands of people in the IRS. But it's ineffective anyway. There's less and less employees in the IRS. They only audit like 0.035 or something like that % of the population. It's ridiculous. It's a flawed system. It's awful. So get rid of the income tax. Get rid of the IRS. Start saving this country a lot of money, right? And making the population wealthier and happier.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. We're going to stop right there.
Wow. Well, I mean, as long as that's going to help, as long as that's going to help us, I don't have a problem with it.
Let's do it.
So many things he's already done.
I'll show y'all my deformed hand.
You know, we know this is not, everything has not been perfect A1, but it sure has been a great improvement.
Yeah.
And who would not love this? Woo! People who have complaints about it, stop lying. It's just a mere fact.
Look how sunky my eyes are.
I know. It's just a mere fact that he is the one that thought of this, because your last president went nowhere near. He wasn't even tapped in.
They're
come
aware,
on.
But they're aware. But then they were part of big government. They were part of let your money
pay for all that frivolous nonsense
let
stuff.
Me stay in the loop of this, because if I make ruckus, it's going to mess up my financial pocket and what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So let me keep the flow going. Let me not make a change. That's the blessing side of coming in with bread already with a business mindset. That's why he's still always going to be my favorite president. Even though it could be some things that might happen that people don't like, and but he always has going to be on the up and up side, because look at these changes. This would affect every American in this country.
Yeah.
Every American. So
and
I
all
hope,
of the money.
I hope all this passes. I hope this passes.
All the money that was spent on nonsense that Doge was able to find. It was an embarrassment to hear where the money was going. So surely they can recoup us $1,000.
And anybody who goes against this, I believe that that you may not ever own a business. You may not ever you have distorted thinking. I think that there's always going to be a plus side. There might be the little sides that we don't know about, all the details about this, but the up and up of what it'll affect, it's going to affect you personally in a positive way. So
of course,
let's make sure, man. Let's root this on, and we but I do feel like I want to say this before we go on the this does remind me of the Bible with Pharaoh and Daniel, with the I think that was Pharaoh and Daniel with the fat cow, skinny cow.
Okay.
The dream of we had those years of fat cow, which is years of wealth, and he had those other years are going to be a famine. I think that's what we're going into. So balance off the wealth before the famine comes. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. I appreciate you.
Love you guys.
Bye.